Hi guys, here we go. Unit 12, our last vocab unit of your junior year. Woo! Okay, here we go. Sorry. The first word is winsome. Is an adjective and it means attractive or appealing in appearance or character. So you would describe a person as winsome or something about that person, like their winsome smile. Um, Usually this is going to be a positively toned word as you can tell, and it's definitely going to be a trait that you would personally want or you would admire in someone else. Vitrolic. This is an adjective and it means filled with bitter criticism or malice. So in this sentence here, or fragment rather, vitrolic attacks on the politicians. See, vitrolic describes the noun attack, right? So um, it is a nasty attack full of bitter criticism. Vicarious. This is a very difficult word for a lot of people to use. It's an adjective and it means experienced in the imagination through the feelings or actions of another person. So, vicarious lives, vicarious punishment. You could live through the vicarious adventures of your best friend who's always going places and telling you about it. Your parents might live through your vicarious achievements in high school. They're experiencing it through you. Vanquish. It is a verb and it means to defeat thoroughly. The context for this word is usually heroic, like a hero would have to vanquish a dragon, for example. If you were up against something huge in your personal life, you could use this word to say like, "Oh, I vanquished this research paper," pointing out that it's such a big monster and you defeated it. Valor. It's a noun and it means great courage in the face of danger, especially in battle. So you would say acts of valor. You would not say the valor sergeant, because there you're trying to use it as an adjective. You would say the sergeant showed great valor. It's a thing that just means showed great courage. Sycophant. That's how you say this. Sycophant. It is a noun and it's a person who acts obsequiously towards someone important in order to gain advantage. So this is a yes man, a bootlicker, a brown noser. This is a negatively toned word. It's somebody who's really a sycophant, is somebody who is like really slimy in order to get somebody in power to like them. They're always following them around like, "Oh, whatever you need, whatever you need." They're being a sycophant. It's negative always. Surreptitious. This is an adjective and it means kept in secret, especially because it would not be approved of. So this is an adjective. A lot of people try to make this an adverb. So they carried on a surreptitious affair, a secret affair. All right. So they didn't carry on the affair surreptitiously, right? We're going to keep it in its adjective form here. So it just means to keep secret because you know people would not approve of it. So a surreptitious affair, a surreptitious decision, a surreptitious act, just kept in secret because it would be looked down on. Subversive. It is an adjective, right? And it is a noun. Two parts of speech for this one. In its adjective form, it means seeking or intended to subvert an established system or institution. So the subversive literature was banned. The subversive student was kicked out of class. In its noun form, you just would say the person is a subversive. So the person was a troublemaker. So you would say the teacher kicked the subversive right out of class. Okay. So you're either going to describe something as subversive, or if the person is subversive, you would just say, "Oh, the subversive." Soporific. This is an adjective and a noun, another one. In its adjective form, it means tending to induce drowsiness or sleep, like this vocab video. The motion of the train had a somewhat soporific effect. Here, soporific is the adjective describing the noun effect. In the noun form, it's a drug or other agent that induces sleep, a soporific. She was given a soporific. When Macbeth and Lady Macbeth want to kill King Duncan, they drug him as a soporific. They're trying to induce sleep. Sedulous. It is an adjective and it means of a person or action showing dedication or diligence. This is a positively toned word all the time. If you look at the sentence, he watched himself with the most sedulous care, diligent, careful, meticulous. In a positive way, though. It's not like you're so meticulous and nitpicky, you're kind of annoying people about it. Sedulous is somebody like you would want a sedulous, I don't know, policeman because he's always watching what's going on in a good way, like always on top of his game, that kind of thing. Seditious. It is inciting or causing people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. So the letter was declared seditious. So seditious is describing the noun letter, right? So a seditious act. You were causing a rebellion, right? It would be a seditious act. In your house, it might be a seditious act to, I don't know, not eat at the dinner table. You're going to get your siblings to kind of gang up with you on your parents and kind of convince them not to have you eat at the dinner table anymore. That would be a seditious act. Scathing. This is an adjective. It is always negative. It means witheringly scornful, severely critical. It is nasty. Like, so she launched a scathing attack on the governor, scathing remark, a scathing report. This is different than vitrolic earlier on. Vitrolic is like nasty and mean and bitter. Scathing has more to do with saying something that part of it is like ruining someone's reputation too. It's like critical of who they are. It sears their reputation. It devastates it. So a scathing report kind of like ruined the reputation of whatever it was being reported on. Repugnant. It is an adjective and it means extremely distasteful or unacceptable. You would describe something as repugnant. So I think I mentioned this before, but like mayonnaise is repugnant to me. It's revolting, repulsive. You wouldn't really use it to say you didn't like something. Like you wouldn't say, I don't like The Walking Dead. I know that's very unpopular, but you wouldn't really say like I find The Walking Dead to be repugnant because I don't like it, right? It's not interesting to me, but I don't find it distasteful. You see, there's like a slight difference there. It's distasteful that you would find repugnant. Like certain perfumes I find to be repugnant. See a difference there? Retrospect. You should all get this right. It's a noun and retro is right in the word. It just means to survey the past course of events. So you would say in retrospect. In retrospect, I realized I could have done 5 things differently today. It just means you looking at the past and try to use the word in before it. That'll help you use it correctly. Reticent. It's an adjective and it means not revealing one's thoughts or feelings readily. It's a neutrally toned word. It could be positive or negative. It just means somebody is kind of like withdrawn, introverted. It's not necessarily a bad thing, like they're shy and weird about it, but they're just gonna, you got to work to get some information out of them. They're not an overly sherry person. Reprobate. It is a noun, adjective, as well as a verb. Okay, so see how down there on the bottom it says verb? Make sure you get all 3 of them. In the noun form, it means an unprincipled person. So the reprobate showed up to date my daughter and I was very unhappy about it, right? In the adjective form, it is somebody who is unprincipled, right? So you would say like, oh, look at all these reprobate men sitting around the bar, right? It's just kind of saying that look at all these unprincipled men hanging out around here. And in its verb form, the neighbors reprobated his method of proceeding. They disapproved of. And not like this is a negatively toned word, but notice how it's humorous and affectionate. It's more joking. It's not like an evil. I know villain is a synonym here, but it's not like a nasty villainous person. It's you just kind of joking. Like, oh, look at all these reprobates hanging out in front of Clementon Park on a Tuesday night. It's you just kind of joking about people being up to no good. Relegate, it's a verb and it means to consign or dismiss to an inferior rank or position. So if you messed up, they would relegate you to a lower position. So if you were on the varsity, I don't know, baseball team and you started playing really terribly, they would relegate you maybe to the JV team. They lower you in rank, they relegate you. Rancor, it's a noun and it means bitterness or resentfulness, especially when long standing. He spoke out without rancor. This is different than vitrolic again because it's a different part of speech. Rancor is a bitterness that's been growing for a long time. A lot of times, divorces are caused by intense feelings of rancor, the bitterness that's been growing for a really long time. Pusillanimous, that's a fun word. It's an adjective. It means showing a lack of courage or determination, being timid. Negatively toned word for sure. If you want to put this on the spectrum, valor is on one side and pusillanimous is on the other, right? Being kind of cowardly versus being very noble and kind of running into battle. Propitious. It's an adjective and it means giving or indicating a good chance of success, favorable. So obviously, this is a positively toned word. So, uh, promising, auspicious, favorable. So it's just describing an event that is favorable or promising. Ooh, wow. Is that it? That is it. That is the last vocab word. All right. See you guys in class.